Hang on, I'm going to read the inscription. A piano he gave to the team that created the original Macintosh in 1984. So if you have any questions about the new iPhone SE or the 9.7-inch iPad Pro, I've been spending some time with them this afternoon, and I would love to tell you about them. So first, let's start with the iPhone SE. The thing about the iPhone SE is that in your hand, it looks and feels exactly like an iPhone 5S. Like if I was holding up an iPhone 5S and an iPhone SE at the same time, it would be really difficult to tell them apart. The changes are mostly internal. The iPhone SE has a 12 megapixel camera on the back. Most importantly, it has a much faster processor. It has the processor from the iPhone 6S. Is there any difference in body between the iPhone 5S and the iPhone SE? I was having a lot of trouble finding one. iPhone 6C, no, it's the iPhone SE. There's a little logo on the back that says SE, obviously, instead of just S, so you know you have an iPhone SE. But I'm thinking there was something about the color matching in the front that was really subtle. But as I said, it's really subtle. Like it's really hard to tell the difference between these phones. The screen on the 5S and the SE is almost exactly the same. But okay, so the processor has been upgraded, and Galaxy S4 or iPhone SE by a landslide, let me tell you. One of the things about the iPhone SE is that it's using a modern processor, it's using that A9, and it's using a relatively modern modem. It sounds like, I don't have 100% notification of this, but it sounds like it's using the Category 4 LTE modem from the iPhone 6. So you are going to get better functionality from the SE than from a Galaxy S4 all around, that's for sure. You heard the term chamfered edge as if it were something new.
Oh,
yeah,
oh.
I mean, it's the same edge as usual. They very subtly changed how shiny it is. I'm a platform agnostic guy. I use a lot of different phones. I'm not obsessed with iPhones, so I was having trouble telling the difference. iPhone SE or Galaxy S7? Well, the Galaxy S7 is, there's a $250 difference between these phones. The Galaxy S7 is more powerful in every way. It has a higher resolution screen, it has a better modem, the processors actually are about the same. The screen is bigger, the Galaxy S7's camera is better, it costs $250 more. So I hope it's a higher end phone. Do I know what the SE stands for? Not off the top of my head. I mean, it feels like a callback to the Mac SE, which was one of the early Macs. It was an improved version of the Mac Plus. Could be a special edition. It could be a speedier edition. Yeah, the lowest size is 16 gigs. There's a 16 gig unit and a 64 gig unit. I think the 64 gig unit will be good enough for almost anyone. I've heard some people complaining there isn't a 128. What are you putting in these phones? If you need a 128, you can get one of the bigger iPhones. Are they going to make the SE a new line? I think that this is now so Apple usually has an iPhone -1, and an iPhone -2. This is the new -2 iPhone. This is going to be the new low-end iPhone line. How much does a 64 gig unit cost? $499 US. I don't know how much in any other country.
No, you can't.
RAM? Apple doesn't typically talk about RAM, and they weren't talking about that on stage. Is it waterproof? No. It's an iPhone. iPhones are not usually waterproof. Could it be second edition? I don't know. I mean, that isn't typically what SE has stood for in iPhone talk. That's more Windows talk for SE. So let me talk a little about the iPad and change hands because my arm is getting tired. Give me a second. I am actually just holding this up in front of my face. I'll talk a little about the 9.7-inch iPad Pro, which is basically a cross between the iPad Air and the iPad Air 2 and the iPad Pro. The thing that most surprised me about it was the quad speakers. It's the size and thickness and lightness of an iPad Air 2, but it has those really loud iPad Pro quad speakers, and I was playing a movie on it, and the movie was super loud. It was super powerful. Are there any OtterBox models for the iPhone SE? It looks like it might fit into all the iPhone 5S cases. The reason I say might is because the Galaxy S7 almost fit into Galaxy S6 cases, but they moved the headphone jack slightly. So we need to get the SE in and try to put it in a 5S case to check. What camera am I using to stream this? I am using an iPhone 6S with the front-facing camera. Yeah, I know. It's actually funny. Here at Apple, they do strongly prefer that you use Apple products to do your journalism, so I have been behaving in that way. Okay, so the 9.7-inch iPad Pro, it works with the Pencil, and the Pencil is still that great feeling creativity tool. It has a smaller keyboard attachment with smaller keys, still comfortable, not quite as comfortable as the 12 inches keyboard attachment. So it is very much just a shrunk down iPad Pro in the iPad Air size. I found it actually more compelling than the standard iPad Pro. What about the speaker on the SE? It's in the same place as the 5S's speaker. In fact, same number of holes drilled in the bottom in the same place. So it looks like basically the same speaker. Do I have the new iPhone on me right now? No, because I just got kicked out of the hands-on room before I was about to live stream with you. We will, however, okay, so if you go over to our PCMag Vine page, vine.co/PCMag, I just posted Vines of both of the new products, 15 minutes ago, so you can check them out. They're hot and fresh, and I've just uploaded some hands-on videos, too, that I think we're editing. I don't know if they'll be published today or tomorrow. Is there still only one speaker on the SE? Yes. It does look like the same speaker hardware as the 5S. The feature that got the most attention from me on the Pro tablet would be those quad speakers. Just from a multimedia perspective, as something to play multimedia on, it was much louder. It was twice as loud as the iPad Air 2, much more powerful in that way. And then, of course, there's the Pencil support. So, is it worth? Okay, so people are asking about Galaxy S6, Galaxy S7. And the iPhone SE, and that's the thing. The iPhone SE is not something to trade up from a Galaxy S6 for. Okay, that's when you're starting to look at the iPhone 6s. The iPhone SE really competes with a lot of those $400 phones out there, like the Xiaomi Mi 5 or the Nexus 5X. Or these are things on about the Galaxy S5, Galaxy S6 level. That this isn't the flagship, but for an affordable phone at $399. It's a lot of power, and it's a killer processor for $399. People are asking if they can see the phones, and as I said, I just got kicked out of the hands-on room. And however, if you go over to vine.co/PCMag, you can see the phone and the tablet immediately. Is there something wrong with my mic? It sounds like most people can hear me, so I'm going to assume that it is more your problem than my problem. However, I'm going to bring my mic a little closer. And I'll talk a little louder. Which one is better, Nexus 6P or iPhone SE? The Nexus 6P is certainly, you know what? I'm going to hold the mic up to my face. Here we go. So the Nexus 6P is certainly larger than the iPhone SE, and that's really the big difference there. I mean, the iPhone SE is a little phone, and it's going to appeal to people who want the little phone. The 6P is a big phone, and they're very different in that way. Can you get unlocked? Absolutely. Here in the U.S., there are going to be two models of the SE sold. There's going to be one for Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Unlocked, and then there's a separate Sprint one. The Sprint one does not work on Verizon. The other one does not work on Sprint. I'm going to have a story breaking down the bands on those phones. Did we see the True Tone display on the iPad Pro? It just looked like a display. It didn't really true its tone. This is something we're going to have to see on the final in the final review. We did see, however, the night shift feature in iOS 9.3. Not that close? Okay. We did. How's this, everybody? We did see, however, the night shift feature in iOS 9.3, which changes the screen color to be more soothing. And that was nice. It was basically, if you've ever heard of the app Flux, it was basically like that. Exact same button layout as on the iPhone 5S and on the larger iPad Pro. So once more, I am hoping that the SE can fit into 5S cases. Thanks a lot, folks, for helping me with the audio. It's definitely a team effort. So when is it launching in the Middle East? I'm not sure. Battery life, they're saying, is up to 50% better than the 5S. And this is not because of a bigger battery. This is because the newer components are more power efficient. So I am suspecting not a 50% improvement over the 5S, but I am expecting it to be better than the 5S. It's a smaller phone. There's a small screen. It's relatively low resolution for one of today's phones, and that's going to help with battery. So I wouldn't be surprised to have longer battery life on this guy than on, say, the iPhone 6 or the iPhone 6S. Apple is not talking about virtual reality. Apple is not talking about 3D. Apple is not talking about cars. Today they talked about, actually one really cool thing they talked about was, did you guys hear about the phone disassembling robot they have? It's this crazy thing. It's called, let me see if I remember, Liam. And it is a robot that disassembles iPhones and breaks them down for their internal components so you can reuse the internal components and things. It was like something out of Terminator, okay? I'm slightly worried that Apple is developing Terminator, but we'll hope that they are obeying the 3 laws of robotics with their phone disassembling robots. Will it use the same charger as the 5S? It's a standard Lightning port. However, Apple did show an iPad accessory that I'm very excited about, which is they have a new USB connector that's powered, and that means you can connect your iPad to wired Ethernet or to other cables that require power. And if you intend to use the iPad as a primary computer, and that's part of what they want to sell these iPad Pros for, they're trying to go up against the Surface. You may want to attach it to a wired Ethernet connection in your house, and so that's an accessory I'm very excited about. Virtual reality, nope. Apple seems to be hiding, if they have virtual reality intentions, and they did do a lot of VR-related acquisitions, they're hiding them under their hat right now. So maybe we'll hear about those next year. What's the battery life? I don't believe they quoted it outright. They did say it's up to 50% better than the iPhone 5S. But I think we're going to see, off the top of my head, it'll be maybe a 20% improvement over the 5S. So I'm going to finish up this live stream soon because I'm holding the phone to do the live stream in my hand right now, and my arm is getting tired. But I'll tell you, everybody, please, how's the camera on the iPhone SE? It is the iPhone 6S camera. 12 megapixels on the back, but it sounds like it is the iPhone 6 front-facing camera of 1.2 megapixels. 6S has a very good camera. It's not class-leading in that the Galaxy S7's camera is better, but it's a very, very good camera. So I am heading out on the red eye from California back into the studio in New York tonight. I'm going to be on Random Access tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, and we're doing Dialed In at 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. So we'll be able to talk a lot more about these new Apple products and anything else phone-related that you wanted to talk about. What phone am I using to send you this Facebook? I am using an iPhone 6S, and I will talk to you folks soon. And thanks a lot for watching this live stream. Follow all of our coverage and our hands-on coverage of the iPhone SE and the 9.7-inch iPad Pro on PCMag.com.